High School in historic Wellsburg, West Virginia. WTRF proudly presents Ohio Valley Tonite with Nathan Marshall. Tonight's guest, Dr. Edith Eger.
I've heard that the Nazis, when I was at Duckow, they constantly used fear tactics. They would, I heard at Duckow, they would beat on the windows and said, "You're going to die tonight," and almost things like pledging a fraternity. It seems like very strange. But when you took the showers, you weren't sure if it was gas or if it was water.
Exactly.
What part did this fear tactics come in?
This was the same with us. We never knew when we took a shower.
Yeah.
If you're going to really study the stress studies, Hans Selye, who got the Nobel Prize, he said anything that stressful comes to us, we have two automatic responses, either fight or flee. Now in Auschwitz, I couldn't fight.
Yeah.
I would have been shot.
Yeah.
I have a friend in Munich, and she's so proud that her father attacked the guard. They shot him.
Oh, my.
Okay. I couldn't flee.
Yeah.
Because if I would have touched the barbed wires, I would have been electrocuted. And I saw the blue body.
Which a lot of people
and
did.
There was an epidemic. People died before the Nazis got to them.
Yeah.
And today I tell parents, don't spoil your children. Because they just sat there waiting for someone to do it for them.
Yeah.
Totally helpless. So today, when you can't fight or flee, you learn how to flow. You learn how to stay in a situation and go through it. Truman said, if it's hot in the kitchen, get out. I say, stay in the kitchen and learn how to deal with the steam. You become a better survivor. So don't call me shrink, call me stretch, you know. I had a wonderful man who really changed my life. His name was Viktor Frankl, who was also in a concentration camp. And the book is called Man's Search for Meaning. I didn't tell anyone I was in Auschwitz when I came to America. And I had my secret. And when I met Viktor Frankl, when I read Man's Search for Meaning, I saw that book. I said, somebody had put words. I didn't have the verbal capacity.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to feel sorry for me. So I kept it a secret. And what I know about secrets, that you have your secret and then the secret had me.
Yeah.
So today I highly recommend anybody to share your secret. And you find out that you're not alone. Yeah. It's easier to die than to live. Look at your birth certificate. It doesn't say life is easy.
Yeah.
There is no guarantee. There is no certainty. There is probability.
My mother always says that God never promises life was going to be heaven. And I think it's a very true statement.
You have a good mommy.
She's a very good mom.
Yes. I think it's good to marry a man who makes peace with his mother.
Oh.
So you'll be a very good candidate for marriage.
I hope so.
Yes,
I hope so.
Yes.
I keep thinking that. Well, we have a student question here
yes.
from a senior at high school, or I'm sorry, we're from a freshman here at high school. It's her name's Jackie Carbasho, and Jackie is talking about the mysteries that shrouded the Holocaust, and she says this.
Can you describe for us a typical day for you at Auschwitz?
Can you do that for us? Can you describe what would typically be like on a typical day?
We were in a barrack, and it has 3 layers. I was on the top. There was very little room, so cooperation was the name of the game.
Yeah.
Not competition, no domination. we had to decide. The way we're going to lie down was 1 foot, 1 head. 1 foot, 1 head. So if you wanted to turn around at night, 1, 2, 3.
Everybody at one time.
Everybody. Today when I lecture to teenager or your parents, I say, the bottom line of a teenager is, you're not going to make me.
Yeah.
That didn't work in Auschwitz. I think we had to get up 4 o'clock. And then it was called the appel. And so we were lining up outside. They were counting heads. We were told that if you're not feeling well, you can stay behind because you're going to go to the hospital. So you have to be very careful and study everything very quickly about the lay of the land. We found out there is no hospital. There is only the gas chamber. So if you stayed behind in the morning,
you were gone.
We'll never saw you again. We learned how to hold onto each other, but don't stay behind.
Rely on each
We
other.
didn't get any food until the evening. It was a bowl of soup, and we were doped. The girls didn't have their periods. We were, kind of zonked out, like a koala bear, We would tell jokes. We would do silly things. I'm going to share it with you. We had a boob contest.
A boob contest?
You got it.
What was that?
Guess who won?
You won? You won the boob contest.
We did silly things.
Yeah, what exactly was the boob
because
contest?
I had a beautiful body. I didn't know what to do with it. But, I didn't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
But, we were going, who has the... and I was a gymnast, so I had a very good, strong body.
So anything to keep you sane, basically.
I was very, very skinny, but had a lot of muscle.
Yeah.
And I suffered less from hunger than my sister. So in the evening, we got this soup, and then we got a piece of bread. It was like a sawdust. So in the following day, I would tell my sister that I really don't want the bread because I'm full.
Yeah.
So, I think if you had someone with you, the probability of surviving was better. Even today, when I work with PTSD, and if someone is in a waiting room with someone else, that person I know has a better chance than being there alone.
Yeah. Dr. Eger, I wanted to talk to you about one thing that's really near and dear in my heart is God. And anybody who knows me knows that I love God. And
Yes, I do too.
It's just, and that's one of the most remarkable things about you. It said you never stopped believing in God during your imprisonment. And today, there are tons and tons of people who have been through much, 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 much less than you, who don't believe in God. And even those who do believe in God would say, how can someone that has been through so much still believe in God? What role did faith play in your survival, and why did you still believe in God even through all this?
Well, belief is different from faith. People say, I believe, and I say, I want to know what kind of life you lead. Because it's easy to have all the verbiage, I believe. I want to know, how you contribute to the world. And I think knowing God in Auschwitz has given me a tremendous opportunity to turn hatred into pity. And deciding that they are the prisoners, not me.
Yeah, and I thought that was an interesting concept. You said that the Nazis were the prisoners and not you. Can you tell us what you meant by that?
I believed that they had a conscience.
Yeah.
And I said to myself,
you would like to think so.
I like to think so, that they had a conscience and they're going to pay for it, that I am innocent.
Yeah.
And this is what I say to sexual abuse. It's not who you are, it's what was done to you, and you are innocent. You are innocent, and you're pure, and you're beautiful. And it has nothing to do with sex. It has to do with dominance. It has to do with control and power. It has to do to debase a person into an object.
Yeah.
I gave a keynote address in Berchtesgaden
Yeah.
to the Americans, and downstairs was Hitler's bunker. There is justice in the world.
Yeah. We said there was a lot of. You said you didn't know that God used different messengers, such as you saw in the Holocaust, even a Nazi, which I thought was interesting. And after all these people did to you and your family, people have to be wondering, how could you believe that a Nazi is a messenger? Could you tell us that story that you've told me about the carrots? I thought that was such a moving story.
Well, when we were taken out of Auschwitz, we became slave laborers.
Mm-hmm.
And we carried ammunition on the top of the train. We were bombed. They told the British would not bomb because they saw the striped uniform, but they bombed anyway.
Yeah.
So I was taken from Auschwitz all the way down to Austria. And one time we stayed at this German village in a community hall upstairs. And we were told, if we dare to leave, we're going to be shot.
Yeah.
And this is April 1944. So my sister tells me if I don't get some food, I'm going to die, she said.
Mm-hmm.
So I go outside, and I remember I begged for some food from the Nazis, didn't get anything. And then I saw some carrots in the next garden. Being an acrobat, I jumped. I stole the carrots.
Yeah.
I climbed up the wall, and I met the guard with a gun.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, and I'm thinking, this is it.
Yeah.
And I think about 3 times he put the gun down and up and down and up. And I remember I began to pray, not for me, but for him. And something happened. I will never ever forget that eye contact.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at me like a father who was really going to teach me a lesson, one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember a German father, the fear.
Yeah. My father too, yeah.
A look can kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, he turned the gun around and pushed me inside. So he comes the following morning. He wants to know who dared to break the rules. So I crawled to him, and guess what happened? He gave me a little loaf of bread when people were killing for crumbs. I spoke German fluently those days. He said, "You must have been hungry to do what you did. I wish I could meet this man today."
That's quite remarkable.
I found the diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never hear
Yeah.
good
Find the
stories.
Nazi in you.
Yeah.
Find the Nazi in you and find the goodness and the kindness God has given us. It's what we choose for every morning.
Yeah.
Is up to you. Love conquers all. You got to really acknowledge that there is no summer without winter, there is no life without death. We got to take the polarities and put it together. I was just marveling on your nature here. I see now the trees being all barren.
Yeah.
And I know if I come back in a couple of months, you're going to see the little ones. So my parents had to die, perhaps, so I can be here with you today. And maybe everything is happening just the way it's designed, and I surrender to that.
I'm not old enough to know this yet, but I've always said that when you look back, everything seems so confusing in life.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look back, it's going to seem like a straight line. And I feel like that's a lot for you. It's led you to here.
Yeah. Auschwitz has given me that inner strength, the perseverance and the resilience that everything is temporary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a true thing with you.
Yeah.
I have 2 more questions and I'll leave you. The way you were liberated is simply remarkable.
May 4th, 1945, the Saints came marching in, and I got M&Ms.
That's what your first meal was?
The first M&Ms, and the first time I saw a man of color.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Well, you were taken as dead. They threw you in a mass
Well,
grave.
you know, we were there, lying there, and finally my hand was up. What is interesting about that freedom is very scary,
Yeah.
because the gates were there, and people would go through the gate, and then they would come back. We were so brainwashed, just like a battered wife
Yeah.
doesn't think that she can leave the abusive husband because he tells her there is no way she can make it without him.
Yeah.
And so there was freedom, but we didn't know what to do with the freedom. Freedom is very scary because freedom comes with responsibility.
Yeah. That's very
Freedom
difficult.
without responsibility is anarchy.
Yeah. And you, when you were rescued, you were 40 pounds and
Well,
had a
that's
broken
what
back.
they tell me. I can't believe it.
Could you even remember any of that
But
at
I
all?
was in a hospital. It's interesting what you make me remember. I became very suicidal.
Yeah.
And that was after I was liberated. I was in a hospital bed, and I couldn't breathe. I had water. I was filled with water. And I remember that when I got up in the morning, I didn't say what. I said, what for?
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing to get up for. I realized the first time that my parents are not coming back.
All that time later.
Yeah, and that I have nothing to look forward to, and I wanted to die, and I know God spoke to me.
What did he say?
I think he said that if you die, you're going to be a coward. But if you live, you got to be standing for something. And I'm so grateful that I'm a member of the healing arts profession and showing people that beyond the body and the mind, that there is our spiritual dimension, and that our body is a temple and the soul resides there. And those are the things that I like to tell people, not about recovery, but discovery.
Mm-hmm.
So working with me is a very interesting journey. It's a kind of an archaeological excavation, and see what we discover on the way.
I have one more question for you. Sadly, today, a lot of people, well, it's only been several years since the Holocaust, and you were in it yourself, and there's been several survivors and video and everything else, but they're already skeptics, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's watching this interview today or 50 years from now and they're a skeptic, what do you say to someone like this to convince them differently? Mm-hmm. Is there anything you can say?
Well, you never argue with those people. You know, I could never argue with Ahmadinejad, who said that the Holocaust didn't exist. But I would think it would be good to read Plato,
Mm-hmm.
who says, I think it's in a Power of Suggestions, that you have to think of a lie, and it's got to be a big one.
Yeah.
And you repeat it until people believe it. I think ignorance is our worst enemy. You can kill the communist. You can kill the terrorist. You can kill the fascist. But you cannot kill terrorism or communism. That's an idea.
Yeah.
And the best way to combat an idea is to think of a better idea. To see the Karate Kid and see how the brain power is the best power. However, I wouldn't be talking to you today if the Normandy invasion wouldn't have started.
Yeah.
So you see?
Yeah.
So it would be nice if we could negotiate and compromise. And I'm a very grateful American citizen, because if you wouldn't have started the Normandy invasion, I wouldn't be here talking to you.
I realized in the last year that how important we are as human beings, because there's so many billions and trillions and years of people and incidences and things that have led to this incident where I get to talk to you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your time, and I appreciate who you are as a human being, and I thank you for all the things that you've done and fought so hard to keep alive, and the spirit you exude, and I hope you do that until forever, and I hope I could do the same.
As long as I live, I don't believe in retirement, and I'm counting on you. I'm giving you the torch.
And I'll do the best I can with it.
What a joy to be with you. You're a wonderful role model
Thank
to
you.
all the young people.
Thank you. And
Give
of
my
course,
love to your parents.
Thank you very much.
I thank you.
And if you want to learn more about Dr. Edith Eva Eger, you can go to your website, which is where?
It's I haven't seen it. It's drEE.com for Edith Eva Eger.
Okay.
And I also spoke December to TEDx.
Okay.
And you find me there too.
Great.
TED, TED. Wonderful people. I hope you support them, because they have young
Yes.
people there too.
Very good.
Yes, I really like them. And they gave me 7 minutes to talk, and I don't know, I cannot tell you what I talked about, because I never know what I'm going to say until I say it. And so anyway, but they're very good people, and I encourage you to look into
Well,
TED.
you're an absolute joy, and I'm sure you
thank
talked
you.
great things. And
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for your patience.
Turn
and
life
thank you for
into a
everything else.
constant celebration.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I'll give you a
you.
hug. Thank you so
Love
much.
you. You're good.
Yes, thank you very much.
I don't want to hear any of that.
And for High Valley Tonite, this has been Nathan Marshall.